Hayes Entertainment exclusive.
Brian Hayes and Big Mike are taking over the podcast scene in Vancouver. Get down or lay down. Lay down. Lay down.
You see me?
Hear us now. Yeah, I see you and hear you.
You can hear me too? Right on, man.
Yeah, all right, perfect. I was about to call you back. Hey,
Lance, thanks so much, man, for taking your time today to be on our show today. We appreciate it.
No problem, man. No problem.
That's a sweet shirt you're wearing, by the way. Not gonna lie. Gibson Kickboxing MMA in Port Moody.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
We're both Port Moody kids. We both grew up in Port Moody, and I continue to play lacrosse in Port Moody, and we're big supporters of you. I actually grew up right across the street from you, like right by Cal Center. So I've known about your gym for a long time, and I've had a lot of people, a lot of friends go through your gym.
All right on, man. Awesome. Awesome. Where are you living at now?
I'm just living up in Coquitlam now, so like 10 minutes away from my old place, but I definitely miss Port Moody. Port Moody's a place to be at.
It is. It is. I love it here.
Yeah, we're up by the John B, my unofficial sponsor.
All right. I grew up in Coquitlam, so.
Okay, good. How'd you get the name Fearless Lance?
Pardon me?
How'd you get the name Fearless Lance?
Oh, I think that came from when I was back in the day when I was fighting. There was no weight division, so like I think it was my second professional fight. I fought Dan Severin in Guam, and he outweighed me by like 80 pounds. And then my very first fight, I fought the six-time future brawl champion. He was 280 pounds Samoan. I was like 199 back then, and it was like there was no weight divisions, and they wouldn't fly me over for middleweight, so I didn't want to pay for my flight, so I fought super heavyweight tournament. So it was the Japanese kind of gave me that name.
Yeah. So you're born in Toronto. When did you move out west?
Say it again. Sorry, it's a little bit of a.
Okay, maybe I gotta turn my mic up here. You were born in Toronto.
Yeah.
When did you move out west?
Oh, like when I was like 1 year old. So I've been out here the whole time. But I was born in Ontario, and then I think we drove across Canada when I was like 1, and we just started a new life out on the West Coast.
Fighting's been a huge thing in your life, obviously. I mean, marrying the featherweight champion Julia Budd, and then having your kid in the Blader lightweight fighter right now as well. I mean, that must mean quite a bit to you.
Yeah, it does. It's we're a family. This is what we do. We eat, breathe, and sleep martial arts. So it's I never even pushed Junior to do. I pushed him to train, but never pushed him to fight. So he was growing up. He had to, it was just mandatory, like brushing your teeth. He had to do martial arts every day. And then when he had to go back to he went back and forth from here to the States, and then I just put him in all the American wrestling, collegiate wrestling, freestyle, Greco, and all that. And they had the best wrestling programs down there, even when they were in elementary school. So I knew he was getting a good education that way for martial arts as well. And then we moving back up here, he got a partial scholarship to Arizona State, and SFU actually wanted him, but he wanted to go to Arizona. And
Good choice.
yeah, well, it was a good choice, but it kind of cut short because he realized he was going to be a naturopath, and then he was just going through this, and he's realizing he's seeing people fighting and doing all these things at the gym, and he just said, I got enough. And he said, you know what, Dad, I'm going to come back. I said, well, you've been doing this longer than a doctor's been going to school. So,
Yeah.
you know, let's come up here. And he's got his own personal training business. He teaches at the gym. He's a huge coach for Jules as well. And then I knew he was going to be a star, but he's better than I thought he would ever be.
That's a big accomplishment. I mean, being the father of him as well. I mean, that would mean quite a bit, obviously.
Yeah, I'm pretty proud of him in all aspects.
Awesome. And what professional UFC fighters have you trained or have came through the gym?
Oh man, I trained. We can go back to Dennis Hallman. Cornered him for the Jens Palver fight. Trained him all through in that camp. That was when 9/11 hit, and that's when we were all in the same house. Me, Tito Ortiz, Randy Couture, Rico Rodriguez. Rampage was in the other house. They were just coming up. Who else was there? Dewey Cooper was there. Dan Henderson came through the camp.
That sounds like a good time.
Miller. Yeah, Miller, what's his name? Jason Miller. Everybody was there, and they were all just coming up. And I was already at that point. I was fighting in, I think, Shudo at the time. But we were all up there. There were lots of fighters. And then I've had Czech Congo and all those guys come through the gym here as well.
You said Tito Ortiz. So side story here while we're running with this. Tito came up here and was training with you, correct?
Say it again?
Tito Ortiz came up and was training with you in Port Moody because I texted him one time and he gave me his number once when I was in Huntington Beach and sent me to this really good bar. And then he was up here. I tried to buy him a drink and he said he was in Port Moody. I presume he was training at your place.
Actually, Tito wasn't.
Really?
I've only trained with them in the States. Rampage came to train with me here, though.
Okay.
But I trained with Tito when I went down to Huntington, and I trained Rampage for 13 weeks down there, every time I'm trying to get him in fight shape before the fight. And then when I went to Big Bear, I was training with Tito. Yeah, that was in the year of 9/11. That's when I trained with Tito.
So
He might have been up here.
Tito wasn't up here for training with you.
Oh, no. Is that what he said?
No, he just told me I tried to buy him a beer, and he said that he was in Port Moody training, like
Crazy.
10 years ago.
I wonder what he's doing. I'm not sure. Last time I saw him with them, he had a fight.
Okay, I just always assumed, telling that story years ago, that he was down there training at your place.
He's never been here, though. He's never been to this gym, so I'm not quite sure.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Have you had the Diaz brothers at all? Have you ever trained them?
No, I haven't. They're tough guys. I like them. I'm fans of theirs. I never trained with them at all. No.
Okay. You're a winner at UFC 24 with the flying knockout knee. What kind of feeling do you get knocking somebody out? I'm like 5 feet tall. I'm not knocking nobody out. Oh
man, the feeling for UFC 24, you're asking me?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was phenomenal, man. It was surreal to be in there, and they actually had my opponent change on me just before. I had Vladimir Matachenko. I was supposed to fight. He was a tough cat, and he was a big wrestler. And then like 2 weeks before the fight, they switched me to the World Muay Thai champ, Jermaine Andre, and it was just an awesome feeling. It's like when I hit him with the knee, it felt like I hit paper. I didn't even know he was going down, and it was a great fight, great memory.
I remember watching that fight. Like, he was down. Once you hit him with that knee, he was out. Like, good night.
Yeah, they say it's the first time somebody left the octagon in a stretcher. So I don't know. That's what they say.
I believe it. I believe it.
So you hate to bring up a loss here, but you fought Dan Severn.
Yeah.
Dan the Beast Severn, who went on to be a WWF wrestler, correct?
Yeah. Well, I fought Dan because they thought, they were giving Dan, he was already the UFC champ, And at the time, then they were Guam was a big place for fights, and it was awesome. Guam's the best. The Super Bowls back in the day it was just packed, and they needed somebody to fight Dan. I'm like, I'll fight him. And he didn't know my name. They thought they were going to get him an easy fight from a guy from Fort Moody with 2 fights.
Yeah.
But I had, back then I was doing 30-minute rounds with like MMA gloves on the heavy bags. I was doing 30-minute rounds for everything. So it was like I was just teaching myself pretty much at that point. But I believed in myself and I knew what I could do. And I was at a spiritual level before that fight where I just felt like I was levitating. It was like you weren't going to stop me. And it was, I think, that was the fight that the Japanese took notice of me and gave me the fearless name.
The reason I wanted to bring up Dan Severn is after your interview, we're actually interviewing Al Snow, the WWF wrestler.
Oh, right on. Right on.
And he trained Dan Severn to be a wrestler. So I have questions for you about Dan Severn, and then I have questions for Al Snow as well about Dan Severn.
Cool.
Do you keep in touch with any of these old people?
When I go fight, a lot of them are officials now or referees. I remember when I don't know where I was when I was one of the places was one of my wife was fighting. Dan Severn was one of the referees and stuff. So I say Dan, he always gives a lot of respect, and I respect him too as well. He's a cool guy, man. So I like Dan. He's a nice guy.
That's awesome. You've done a lot of acting as well. I mean, like with Romeo Must Die and the X-Men, like how did you get into that? And how do you feel about doing acting after your MMA stuff?
Oh, it was great. I've been studying acting since 18 years old. So I've been doing theater and plays. That's how I actually got into MMA because I was young, always fighting and, always fighting. And then I wrestled. And then I went down to Seattle, moved down to Seattle, and I've tried to find a good gym. And the gym I kept going to, they were never open. So I went to the boxing gym for a bit, and they just kind of used me as a sparring partner for their pro boxers. They weren't teaching me anything. So then I spoke to somebody, and they said, "Go see Maurice Smith." Well, I called the number in the yellow pages, and Haru Shimanashi from AMC answered the phone. And he's my Muay Thai coach, and Matt Hume's my MMA coach. And I ended up just driving up there. It was an hour and a half from where I was living in Seattle daily. So I'd go there with 3 kids in the back of my Impala. I'd drive up there twice a day, and I'd train with them. And I remember the first day I came in there, Chemo was in there. Chemo from UFC. I don't know what UFC he was in. The one with the big cross on his back.
Yeah.
I had watched a lot of UFCs. I didn't, and I was a tough guy from the street, and then I wrestled a lot. So I ended up, my first week, nobody wanted to spar him. So I sparred him. I think we went 8 or 9 rounds with takedowns. And I remember right off the bat, he caught me with one of his hardest punches. And then I was kind of like, what the hell is going on here? This is a real fight. And then my coach, Haru goes, he took me to the corner and goes, "I know what you can do. You're like Mike Tyson. Go on there and take it to him." So I went back, and then it was like I took it to him, and it was I gave him a pretty good beating. It was back and forth, but I gave him a beating. He was like 280. He was a big dude, and I had to take him down. By the end, I dislocated my clavicle, or my clavicle in the front, this collarbone and clavicle area. And then I was out for a while, and they hadn't seen me for a while. When I came back, everybody was like, "Oh, okay." And I said, "Well, if this guy can make it, if he's already fighting in the UFC, because I think he was about to fight Ken Shamrock." And I said, "I'm just starting now." I said, "I think I might be able to make a living at this." And that was kind of the day I began.
That's awesome.
With your acting, did you ever meet DMX or Aaliyah?
Oh yeah, Aaliyah's awesome girl. Awesome girl. I met DMX. Jet Li's great. Jackie Chan's one of my favorite, man. Like Jackie Chan's a gentleman, a real gentleman. Like he's down to earth. He's one of the coolest cats I met. Aaliyah was fantastic. Jet Li's great. Been with Van Damme. Seagal's a bit of a weirdo.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Romeo Must Die is in my top 10 favorite movies.
Oh yeah, yeah. That was fun making that.
Van Damme's probably my favorite. He's a beast. That guy.
Yeah, he's a nice. He's out there. He's hilarious. He's out there though. He's out there, but he's great.
Exactly. I know you call her Jules, so I might as well call her Jules too.
Yeah.
With Jules being ranked number 3 right now in the MMA world, I mean, that's a pretty big accomplishment as well. Does she train with you? Like, does she train at that gym all the time or what?
Yeah. Well, she's my wife, right? So
Yeah.
Jules.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jules is my wife. She doesn't train anywhere else but under me for the last, I think, 15 years.
Awesome.
Yeah, last 15 years, twice a day. Junior and her spar daily, and then I got a crew with me that's been with me. Most of my crew is a really cool, good crew. We've been open for 23 years, and I got guys here who have been with me for 23 years.
So Junior's living in town
it's real
too?
nice. Pardon me?
Yeah, Junior's living in town too?
Yeah, we all live together. And we take
okay.
care of them too. So we're all a family. We live up in the mountains. And just have us, our 2 Akitas, and me, Jules, Junior, and I take care of my mom as well.
Okay, we actually met back in the day. You probably don't remember it, but I used to do shows down at the Point Pub in Port Moody, and Big Mike beside me, he used to be the bouncer. I poked my head in there one day into your place saying that I would come down there in my suit and tie, and that I was going to come down there and get you to train, and I never came back. I don't know why. I still think about it every day. I wonder why I never went back.
Damn, never too late, man. Never too late. Yeah.
Hey, I'm on 37. I'm getting a little old.
No, it's never too late. Never too late. I got.
Yeah, we still hang out in Port Moody quite a bit. I mean, the Legion right behind you guys, and there's still the Burrard Public House, and Port Moody is still my go-to for sure. I mean, it'll always be my hometown, always be my go-to. I mean, there's no better city to live in.
Yeah, no, you get the water, the mountains. I got to be close to the ocean, and you get the mountains here, and I love Port Moody. I love it.
Are you training anyone in the UFC or Bellator right now?
The 2 Bellator fighters I got is my wife, Julia, Lance Jr., my son. I got one other guy out of here has been with me for the last 15 years. Howie Tan. He's a 125er, and once they have an opening for him, they're going to take him as well in. So I just kind of keep it a tight group. I've had all the best fighters in America, and that just becomes a babysitting thing sometimes. So it's just like it's a lot fighters. Unless my wife, she makes me a lot of money. Obviously, she gets paid. I've negotiated a good contract for her, and she makes really good money. And Bellator loves Junior's style and the way he fights, so they take care of him really well as well. So, but I'm very particular on who I take and who I allow in my gym. I'm a martial artist as well, so I've learned a lot over the years. I've seen it all, and sometimes one fighter is better than 10.
Yeah, we're definitely a huge UFC, MMA, and Bellator fan, so we definitely love to have Jules on here one time and Junior. It'd be great.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely.
Oh, who's your favorite fighter nowadays, and who is your favorite fighter in the past?
Okay. Favorite fighter in the past. Anderson Silva in the past, 100%. When Anderson was at his prime, he was just phenomenal. Anderson was amazing. George St. Pierre is is greatest of all time. And I
can't argue.
And he's just a martial artist and a gentleman. That's what you want your kids to see. All the crap talk and all that stuff. George St. Pierre is one of the greatest of all time, guaranteed. So he's one of my favorite. Anderson Silva. Now the new fighters, I like. John Jones, I love him. I just wish he'd get his life together a little bit. But
Bones Jones is real good.
Man, something else.
Yeah.
And Israel is great as well. He's great. I think he needs to learn. I get his ground a little bit better, but I'm not saying taking anything away from him. I just want to keep him flawless. He's fantastic.
I just don't get the Bones Jones thing. I mean, like, you have everything. Like, why let it go?
What happens is these guys, they get everything, and then they think they're like invincible, and they have nobody to answer to. So when you don't have a coach or a mentor to talk to, I know this from training Rampage, because I brought Rampage out of being 280 pounds, showing up in his camp with Rashad the very first time when I went to England. I brought all his camps back to California, and we went through hell with his old management, man. There was some stories I could tell you guys, and I got him on his 2 wins with Machida and Matt Hamill, and then I had to leave him for John Jones because I refused to have anything to do with his management. And we're still, like, he talks to my wife all the time, Jules, and goes, I know Coach was right, and all that stuff. So, you know, sometimes these guys, they need mentors, but they take the wrong ones on sometimes. You know, or they don't have them, and nobody can tell them what to do, and they go out and get in trouble.
Yeah, that's understandable. I understand that for sure.
Yeah.
Back to that shirt. I mean, you guys selling that shirt at your shop right now, or what? Because that's a sweet shirt.
This is an old one. I think this is the one. I just put this on before because I was ripping around, and I just taking the cage padding down. We're getting some new stuff here, and this was like Jules. This is the one that Jules won her first title for Bellator in.
Wow.
So that was in March of 2017. That's when she fought her first titles and got her first belt. Yeah.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, man, Lance. We totally appreciate you, man, taking your time to answer our questions and be on this interview with us. We totally wish your company all the best. And I mean, we'd love to have on JR, and we'd love to have on Jules as well.
Okay. Yeah, just let me know, and I'll let them know for sure.
And if you ever want to go for dinner, I'll come buy your dinner up there at the John B, my unofficial sponsor.
All right, man. All right, yeah. Let's wait till all this pandemic goes away.
Yeah, that's definitely.
Yeah.
Thanks,
sure.
Lance.
Right on, guys.
Stopping by.
Awesome.
Thank
Take care,
you.
guys. Bet.